Very, very excited for today's video, to be honest. This video is going to be about a purpose. If you're a man and you've been in the self-improvement niche here on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, or whatever social media platform you use, I guess those would be the only three to watch content on. But if you've been there, you've probably heard the word purpose. You've probably heard, oh, I gotta stay on my purpose. Every man should have a purpose. But you might not be familiar with purpose. You might be confused, like, what does purpose even mean? Is purpose my 9 to 5 job? Is purpose my, university degree? Is purpose the thing my parents want me to do? Well, I thought for this video I would answer these questions that I think most men, most young men at least, has, and I was one of them. Now I decided to structure this video around four core questions that people tend to ask. Number one is obviously, what is purpose? Number two, why does purpose matter so much? Number three, how to start finding your purpose? And number four, life setup for purpose. So let's begin with the first question. What is purpose? I've written here, purpose is your core as a masculine man. Your purpose shapes you and your life. We can have different purposes, and depending on how we live our life, different purposes can unfold. Your 9 to 5 job and your degree from university might not be related at all to your core purpose. For some people it is, but for the majority, these are just tools that you use to get your paycheck. Now, I said something interesting there. I said core purpose. What do I mean by this? I want you to view purpose as something with a core. So this is your core purpose. This is literally what you were put on earth to attain, if that makes sense, right? Like, your life's mission is this. On top of this layer, you have other layers. So the easiest way to basically think about this, or to visualize it, is to think of purpose and core purpose as onion. A onion has different layers to it, right? And when you come to the core, there's a small piece right there. That small piece is your life's mission. Everything else around it is called purpose layers. Now, these don't have to be necessarily directly linked to your core purpose. For example, let's say your core purpose, just for the sake of simplicity and for the sake of this video, let's say your core purpose is you becoming a doctor. You obviously have to go to university. You obviously have to do certain things in order to achieve your core purpose. But going to university in and of itself isn't your core purpose. Does that make sense? Like, it's just a tool slash a purpose layer to you know achieve your core purpose. Another example would be, let's say you want to become a weight loss coach, but you specifically want to help women that have gone through, I don't know, pregnancy, and they have a flabby body type or whatever, and you want to help them now. You going to the gym is not your core purpose. That's a part of your purpose. It's a purpose layer, but it's not the core. It's not your life's mission, right? And all of these things can be used to get to your core purpose. So right now would be a very good time to maybe pause the video, sit down and reflect, or even write down, okay, what in my life am I doing currently that I think is more of a purpose layer? It could be, as I said, going to the gym. It could be, you having a specific 9 to 5 job, which you aren't really, passionate about, but this is a job which will help you, gear towards your core purpose. Anything that resonated with the things I just said could be a purpose layer, So write these down and just reflect. It's a very, very good exercise to do. So as I said, what is purpose? Just to simplify the answer, it's your life's mission. It is literally what you were put on earth to do. Number two, why does purpose matter so much? Without a deep purpose, a man will chase distractions. This could be things like women, money, status, and drugs. He does this in hopes that they will fill the void. But the truth is that nothing can fill that void long term. And that is because you're not aligned with your core. Purpose is what will give you direction in this life. The reason why I'm so obsessed with purpose, and by the way, let me just talk about, you know what, I'm going to talk about my own journey in the next question because it relates more to the next question. Apologies for that. So let's go back to why does purpose matter so much. In today's era, we see a lot of young men getting lost in drugs, party, alcohol, sex, dating apps. And the single reason for this is because they don't have a purpose. Most of these men that I'm talking about, they have a fantastic degree from university. They have a fantastic job, but each weekend, each chance they get, each holiday they get, what do? They spend the money on alcohol and drugs and women and sex and dating apps because they feel inherently that something inside of them isn't fulfilled, even though they have these degrees, even though they have a fantastic 9 to 5 with a a good salary. They might even have a loving and beautiful wife, a girlfriend, maybe even kids. Like some guys even have kids and they still party. That's essentially just because inside of them there's a void which can be fulfilled. Like this void can't be filled or fulfilled with anything less than your purpose. And as long as you live your life, you know, um, not being true to yourself and to your purpose, this void and this inner voice will literally be there and scream at you every single day. I'm not even kidding. It's insane. And it's like quite literally the sole reason why so many men today are lost. Men are addicted to only fans. I'm not sure if you can say that on YouTube though, but I hope you can. If I get banned, you guys know why. But so many men are addicted to OnlyFans. They're addicted to corn addiction. I already made a video about this, by the way. And they're addicted to partying and having like all of these materialistic things. The simple reason for this is because they think all of these external validations from different people will fill that empty void inside of them, but it won't. The only thing that will fill it is literally staying true to yourself and living life aligned to your purpose. So that is literally why purpose matters so much. I don't care if you have a job that you love. If that's not your purpose, that job is only a tool which you could use, as a purpose layer, for example, to get closer to your core purpose. But it's not. Like, don't get it twisted. That job that you love is not your purpose. Let's move on to number 3. How to start finding your purpose. Purpose won't randomly appear one day. It will unfold as you move forward in life. Some questions you can reflect upon are: what problems do I feel called to solve? What kind of man do I admire and why? What do I want to give to the world? The answer to these questions can help you find the right path and direction. You will never find your purpose when you live comfortably. It's always discovered in struggle. Push yourself, take risks, step outside of your comfort zone. Use death as a guide. Imagine yourself dying, imagine your parents dying or a loved one dying. How would their death impact you? Sit in silence, complete silence with no distractions, not even a notebook, not even a pen, just you and your thoughts. This could mean going away for 1 week. Just sit in a quiet place like the woods and reflect upon life. Ask yourself deep questions. I remember about 3 years ago, it was like autumn of 2022, and it was the first time that I read this book, The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. After reading this book, I had what I would like to call a kind of a life crisis. Like, I felt so empty after finishing that book because I understood that all of the things that I had done in my life up until this point was just a waste of time. Like, quite literally. Of course, like going to the gym and stuff, building my dream physique isn't inherently a waste of time, but it's not my core purpose. It's not what I should, dedicate my life to. So what I did after finishing this book is I quite literally cut everyone off. It sounds insane, but I did. I I went ghost. I didn't reply to text messages. I didn't even, say a farewell or goodbye to people. I literally just cut everybody off. I went ghost. I didn't reply to their calls, their messages, or their concern. The reason for this is because I was so disappointed in myself, and it might sound harsh, like why would I be disappointed at myself about something that I wasn't even aware of? But that's the thing. Like, I think in life you have to be accountable, and the more you can take accountability, even when it isn't inherently your fault, the easier your life will be. So essentially what I did was I went ghost. I tried to be in solitude for a long period. And this period stretched from about like 6 months, I think. For 6 months, I didn't see any friend. I didn't date any women. I wasn't really on dating apps or whatnot. I was still on social media because I was posting. I had a different account back then. So I was posting content, but that content wasn't even related at all to my core purpose. But I remember some weekends I would drive away to the woods and to nature specifically, and I would just sit there in silence. I wouldn't even bring anything. Like sometimes I would bring a book to read, but for the most part I would just sit in silence, not even bringing my journal, which I used to do very very often back then, but I didn't do it during these periods. And that was because I knew that I needed silence. I just needed to be in the woods, just hearing the birds chirp, just hearing the sounds of nature, and listen to my inner voice. Because today we live in a world which offers us nothing but distractions. Like quite literally, your phone, your computer, even books, bro. All of these things, they can be good, and if you use them sparingly, and if you use them in the right way, I want to say, they could be awesome. Your phone, you're literally holding something in your hand, or you're having something in your pocket that could quite literally make you a millionaire. But most people don't. Most people feed into the addiction. And same with books. Like if you're just reading books without actually applying the knowledge and the practice, so to speak, knowing the theory is amazing, but you have to apply the theory. I believe it's called like praxeology, where you actually practice what you've just been taught. So, as I mentioned, I knew that the only way for me to feel fulfilled in life and finally be happy, if that's even the right word to use, I have to find out what my purpose is. And, I went on this journey by myself, and I did lose a lot of friends in the process because, some of those people that I cut off, so to speak, they won't speak to me today. And that's fine. I'm not, saying this to for you guys to pity me or to say that I'm sorry or anything. It's just more of a reality that like this is how life is supposed to be. And speaking of which, I want to mention another point. Like when it comes to purpose, you have to learn to be selfish. Like honestly, it's a very hard thing to do. Just 2 days ago, honestly, one of my friends, he sent me a text message, sorry, asking me to borrow me and my camera to record him for like three different days, basically. Not the whole day, of course, but three different occasions. And I told him, like, look, man, I don't have time. I work full time. I also study. I'm still in school, right? Or university, if you will. And I'm trying to make content. I'm very passionate about content creation. So I told him straight up, like, I'm not going to help you. And he even offered to give me money. But I'm like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, I don't give a shit about the money itself. The time is so more important for me and so much more valuable. And that's the thing. Like this guy, he understands me. Like me and him go way back, and we've also worked together. So he kind of understands my journey and whatnot. And I've also taught him a lot about purpose. So he understands. But most people don't, and that's fine. Like you have to be ready to be seen as a villain, or like at least a anti-hero in in the pursuit of finding your purpose. It will suck, especially in the beginning if you're not used to it, and if you're used to being a nice guy and not having people resent you, it's going to suck. But as I said, like it's either that or you lose yourself. And for me personally speaking, I would lose myself so many times, like in my younger days. And now when I'm grown up, like for these past 3 years, since 2022, I've cut off everybody that's not aligned with my purpose. Honestly, I have realized that I would rather lose them than myself. A million times. I don't care. Like losing yourself is probably one of the worst things you can do. You just feel this sense of disgust because you sold yourself for what? Like honestly, you will be the only person who like when shit hits the fan, for example, nobody else will be there to save you. Not your parents, not your siblings, not your best friend, not even your wife, not even your kids if you have any. Yes, these people love you to death, but as a man, nobody's coming to save you. If you're a woman, it's a different story. To be honest, like there are so many men wanting to save you. They have this like prince complex where they think they can be the knight in shining armor and come and save the day and save the woman. But as a man, that's never going to happen, quite honestly. So, as I said, let's go just back to the story that I was talking about. When I found my purpose, I found it through solitude. And that's exactly what I want you to do as well. You have to sit in silence. Now, I mentioned here that, this could mean going away for 1 week. If you have the ability to do that and the capabilities to do that, I highly recommend it. Go away for a trip 1 week, just book a ticket, or you don't have to go abroad specifically. You can stay in your hometown, but go to a place where it's complete silence and sit in a quiet place, man. Like, just reflect and think upon these questions. Like, use death as a guide. Death can be so powerful. Like, imagine your parents dying, imagine a loved one dying, imagine siblings, best friends, or yourself dying, and you're going to invoke these feelings inside of yourself. And you know, you have to question yourself, okay, what is this telling me? Like, imagine you watch your dad or your mom in a deathbed, for example. How will you live your life now? Is this the way, like, the current way you are living your life, is it sustainable? For example, if your father dies, like, you have to become the man of your family. You have to step up. And would you be able to step up if you're living life according to how you live life today? These questions are so important. And as I said, like, you have to ask yourself these questions. You have to sit in silence and reflect upon them. And don't even write them down, because there shouldn't be a complete journal of answer. It should literally be 1 or 2 word answers. You know, if my father dies today, will I be able to step up and take care of the family? Yes or no? Fast. Like, if the answer is no, then you can spiral down that road and, ask yourself other questions. Okay, but why? Why can't I step up? What am I afraid of? Or if it's yes, okay, but what will I do? Let's say he passes away tomorrow. God forbid it happens, but let's just say he does. What will I do? If my father passes away tomorrow, will I be able to take care of my family, my mother, my siblings, cousins, maybe, like, whatever it may be? Will I be able to step in his shoes and actually take care of the family as a man is supposed to do? Most of you will say no. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say no as well. I'm so far away from where I want to be. It's actually insane. And that's scaring me. But you know what? It's good. You want to become scared. You want to invoke these feelings. Like, that is what's going to drive you forward, because now your brain actually has questions to seek answers to, right? Before, you were doom scrolling on TikTok. What are you going to find there? Like, you're not going to find any answer doom scrolling on TikTok. You're just frying your dopamine receptors, and you're also engaging in brain rot content, which quite literally slows you down so immensely. Like, I don't even think you understand. So, find your purpose by asking yourself these questions. And you can think about this. Your purpose right now, if you don't have one, is to find your purpose, right? Like, it's kind of like the movie Inception, a dream in a dream, right? This is more of, okay, I can't find my core purpose, so my purpose right now is to find what my core purpose is. The last question, sorry, the last question is more like how you can set up your life when you found your purpose, because this is also such an important thing. Once you've found your purpose, everything in your life must be aligned to it. Your diet, your job, your surroundings, and your daily habits. All of them must be tailored specifically towards your purpose. This is probably one of my favorite concepts, which is, inside of the book, The Way of the Superior Man. Sorry. This book, by the way, like, all of these questions and purpose as a concept is like, at least this video is heavily inspired by this book. So if you haven't read this book, The Way of the Superior Man, it is my favorite book by far. But I think it's crucial for men to read, especially if you are a man that's aiming to become something higher, and especially if you are spiritual. But yes, setting up your life and aligning everything to your purpose. This has to do a lot of, a lot about you being selfish. The point I mentioned earlier. So essentially, why you want to be selfish is because, people's lives will will not be relevant to your purpose whatsoever. Honestly, it may sound harsh, it may sound crazy, but it's the truth. Your life and your life's mission has a specific path. Okay, let's say you're going left and everybody else in your family and your friends are going right. By going right, you will never ever end up in the end destination, so to speak, that you were supposed to end up if you had taken the left path. So this means that every time you do something that is not aligned to your purpose, and guys, I'm gonna be honest, like I am very extreme. You don't have to be as extreme as I am. I just chose to be this extreme, but this could literally mean ditching out holiday plans. This could mean ditching weddings. Like literally, one of your friends is getting, married. Should I actually go? I want you to contemplate. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm saying you should ask yourself these questions. Like you have to be, so you have to like meticulously plan these things out. So you know, if I do X, will it impact Y? And if it does, why will it impact Y and Z and so on and so forth? So you have to basically like ask yourself these questions. And the reason for this is because every single time you do something that's not aligned to your purpose, you'll feel it inside of you and your mood will shift. It's crazy, but once you become self-aware, it will shift. I notice in myself, if I do something that is not aligned with my purpose, let's say I hang out with somebody and we do something that's so far away from my purpose, I will feel like I'm wasting time and my mood will shift like this when I'm with that person, and it sucks. And why I'm saying you should be selfish is because of first and foremost because you want to achieve your purpose, right? But it's also for the other person's sake. That other person could be with somebody that actually enjoys the company of that person. And this is very relevant to guys out there that have girlfriends. A sad reality is that most of you shouldn't have girlfriends. You don't deserve it, because when you haven't found your purpose, you're basically telling this girl, okay, hey, I'm gonna jump on this train. I'm gonna go to a specific place, and she might ask, okay, but what's your final destination? Like, where are you actually going? You don't even have a answer to that because you don't know yourself. So you're telling her, hey, come with me. We'll just take this train and we'll end up somewhere. But where is that somewhere? Like a woman wants you as the man to take leadership. Like you are supposed to know quite literally everything. Like you should know the answers to these things. Where are you going in life? You should be able to answer like that. You shouldn't be like, oh, first I might want to go to university, but I'm not quite sure. You should be 100% certain. And I don't want to speak about diet in this video, but I'm gonna say this: if you are biochemically unwell, making decisions, especially these decisions, will be hard. So you have to put your diet and lifestyle in check before you can have these optimal thoughts. Gut feeling, as it's called, is just a healthy gut. And how do you get a healthy gut? By having a healthy diet. So if you don't have a healthy diet, that's like basically the first priority, I would say. Now, when it comes to men and having relationships with women, if you haven't found your purpose, I think it's unfair to you and that woman. First and foremost, it's unfair to you because this is going to sound horrible. And I know some people might watch this video and see, my face for the first time and be like, this guy is a total jerk and piece of shit. He talks about me not going to my friend's wedding. He talks about me being selfish and cutting everybody off. But this third thing might be the worst. So look, let's say you're with a woman right now, right? And let's say you become closer to your purpose and you finally achieve your purpose. That woman will not be on the same level as you. In life, you always level up, right? Some people will say like this. Let's say you found a woman. This can even be you finding friends. It doesn't have to be specifically a woman, but just for the sake of this video and for the sake of this section of the video, we're going to talk about women specifically. So this is a woman. This is you. You guys found each other here after maybe high school. You guys both were into parties and you had mutual friends and whatnot and mutual interest. Now you decided to level up while she stays here. This is just after a couple of years. Imagine in 10 years, 15 years, like bro, you will be up here and she will still be here. A woman can help you on your journey, but that's only when you know what you want to achieve in life. If you are out there, acting like a ship without a set course, you will just let the wind, basically blow you away. and decide for you where you will end up. And that specifically will kind of make you resent and have ambiguity towards your woman, because every time she's asking for your time, every time she's, oh baby, can we do this, you'll be like, no, I need to work, like I need to do this and that, but you don't even know what work means because you're not, aligned to your purpose. You don't have a purpose. So the difference between a man who is purposeful and a man who has no purpose, purposeless, for example, is that the purposeful man, he could be with a woman with no problems, no issues, and he can spend time with her, no problems, no issues, because he will know in his heart of hearts that even if I spend 30 minutes with my woman today, I will do it like and I'll be present, 100% present, because I know that after those 30 minutes I can go and chase my purpose and she'll be fine with that. However, a purposeless man, he hasn't even found his purpose. So what he's doing is basically bullshitting. He's lying to his woman, he's lying to himself also, first and foremost. And every time she's asking for, oh, Saturday, do you have any plans? Maybe we can do this or that. He will basically feel resentment. He will say yes because he's a coward. He will say yes even though he doesn't necessarily want to spend time with her, because he knows, as I said, his inner voice and his inner core, like you can literally feel it here, says to him, what the fuck are you doing? Like you have to chase your purpose. Like this thing right here that you're doing is not even aligned to your purpose whatsoever. So that's like the main difference. And that's why I'm so extreme when it comes to dating. Like I haven't, had a serious girlfriend for years now because of this specific thing. I have friends that are getting married. I have, cousins that are getting married. Some of them even have kids. I am so far away from that because I know that my life will become worse if I settle down right now. First and foremost, it will become worse because I will feel resentment towards these people, like, a girlfriend or a wife, because I will feel like she took away my purpose from my life. But in reality, it's my own fault because I didn't even have a purpose. And what did I do? I settled down with her because I wanted quick sex, or I wanted, the companionship. All that is fantastic. All that is great. But on your way to attaining your purpose, I think you should try to stay single as long as possible, because it's not fair both to her but also for yourself. This is not about, being red pill and about, trying to fuck as many women as possible. By all means, if that's your thing, you can go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But my point here is that just because I say you should stay single, I'm not implying that you should go out and engage in hookup culture. That's disgusting, bro. But yeah, align every single thing to your purpose. Like it's probably one of the most important things you can do. Everything from diet, job wise, surroundings, daily habits has to be tailored and specifically geared towards your purpose. So, for example, a good thing to think about is that if you have a job which is draining and you're spending countless of hours, you might be getting a lot of money, but you're spending countless of hours even when you come home from work. This could be a good time to maybe search for another job. You know why? Because time will be your most valuable asset right now. So even though you get a lot of money from this work, you might have to want to switch to this work, because this work allows you to free up your time way more. And when you have time, you can create things that will, get you closer to your purpose, essentially. Uh, and Yeah, I think honestly that's basically it. I don't want to speak too much because I don't want to just make this video about purpose, a yapping session, so to speak. These are basically, the most important questions to ask yourself. I think I'll do a bunch of videos on purpose, to be honest. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I know so many men out there are missing the crucial like things to know when it comes to purpose. So, you know, if you don't, resonate with this video, I can assure you that I'll make a bunch of videos kind of similar to this one, which will help you find your purpose. But my biggest tip, as I said, is reading the Way of the Superior Man. Like this book, I'm going to talk about this book so many times. Like it's crazy how much it's changed my life, and I'm very grateful for it. But as I said, in the upcoming future, I will be making more videos about purpose, because it's something that you guys need to know about. Like, once you find out what your purpose is, and once you find out the concept of purpose, your life will change. You know, 3 years ago, when I found out what purpose even is, oh man, like, till this day, my life just feels incredible. It's like I'm chasing something with intent, and it feels so good. Like, I literally feel like I'm fulfilling the masculine energy inside of me, if that makes sense. But yes, guys, that was basically everything I had for today's video. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you don't mind, I would highly, highly appreciate a subscribe on this channel, and also make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. If you want my help, there is a link to Calendly down below, which you could use to book a call, and we will see what I can help you with. Peace out, guys.